podcast contains spoilers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Legion, Season 1, Episode 8, Chapter 8, the finale. I'm your host, Clio, and with me I have Jacob. Yay!
Hi. Hey.
Wow.
We're done.
Yeah, wow. Didn't expect it to open the way it did. The whole sequence with Clark was just really...
I liked it.
It was so good. It was really well done.
That it wasn't expected, but like we should expect that from the show. But yeah, that was really sad and kind of heartwarming. And you know, this is a character who like I honestly forgot about. He comes back in from last week. I'm like, oh yeah, you were a thing. And he came back this episode. We opened with him, and I'm like, this is actually really deep, and I like it. I like this guy. I mean, he got fucked over. And like, that shit looks like it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Two-Face, you're on the wrong show. But that thing with him and his husband and their son, it just getting a look into their life. I wanted to see what their life was like before this happened, because they seemed really sweet, and that was but just the things that I just can't imagine the pain he went through, and just you had to drop the procedures that you went through, just the image you had to put in my head, tube in dick. You didn't have to say that. You didn't have to, but you did.
But you did. So thank you for that image.
And I felt it too. Great, thanks.
Yeah, and fuck, what was I gonna say? I loved him getting the suit out of the locker with the cane and all of that. And this was a really good way to like have us connect with this character, because I think if we didn't get this scene, we would not have connected with him at all. But
I didn't, and then then this happened. You gotta pull this shit.
Yeah, and it makes what happens with him later, emotions.
The show's good at that.
Yeah. So they, and it explains where he was when most of Division 3 got murdered. He was in the hospital. So I think I asked that question, or had brought it up in one of the other episodes, and it's like, well, now we know he was in the hospital.
For good reason.
Yeah. And it seems like more time has passed than I assumed. It's been 6 weeks.
And I'm still trying to... We didn't get all the questions answered that I would have liked. Still trying to place this in time.
Still can't do that. Nope.
I'm guessing more modern times, because he has a husband. So either that or there is no husband. I don't know.
Yeah, they're married and they've adopted a child, so
if this was in the 60s, then
probably
just know.
Yeah.
Just know.
Yeah, it could just be that's what the present looks like in that universe.
Well, it is possible. I mean, fashion trends do come back. So just the way the people dress and like the music they listen to. I mean, with the hipster generation going on now, things are coming back. So it's possible that this is like in the slight future, and they've gone, like, I don't know, I guess the world has just kind of embraced the 60s aesthetic now.
It would definitely explain the folding tablets, because that's future tech. So. Yeah, no, they definitely left that. up to interpretation. I
And,
wonder if that's a question that's ever going to be answered.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, we saw the end of last episode that the Butter King is breaking through.
There was a
Busting
little,
out.
just a little crack, and Butter King Lenny, Butter King
Butter King
Beetlejuice
Lenny.
Lenny, is in the White Room,
Talking
and
to Sid.
isn't that great?
Yeah.
You two have the best talks, don't you?
Oh, the best.
And you could tell, you could see, and I kudos to makeup and hair, what you did with Lenny, and it just looked like she was dying,
Yeah. Yeah.
but she was
was
still Lenny. You know,
that was great.
she still acts, all like a Lenny. She's her own category. She acts like a Lenny, but she looks like shit.
Oh God, she's just stepping out of the bed with all the goop, and she just is like,
That was
"Hey,
good.
sexy."
She's like, so they closed the front door, so I came in through the back. You know what I'm talking about, right?
You like that, don't you? That whole exchange was like disgusting and hilarious.
That was gross. I do love the metaphors that they do put in the show when she was talking about. Well, Sydney says, we're gonna get you out. We're gonna get you out of David's head, and then we're gonna kill you. And then Lenny explains, she's like, "Have you ever made soup?" I'm like, "Okay, great. Where are you going with this now?
Yeah, right.
What metaphor are you gonna say now?" She's like, "You put the broth in, you put your vegetables in, and all this shit, and then, then you have soup. Here, have you ever tried to unmake soup? You can't do it."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I usually do little art for these episodes. So I drew
Oh
Butter
God,
King
the soup! It's King and the Butter King and the angriest boy in the world's angriest boy in the world, and Lenny. I love it. It's great. Which actually, I think you came up with the name Butter King before
I
we knew
did.
he was a king.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was. I didn't look up
Yeah.
who he was, but like he was. See, I came up with the name Butter King because he's like really fat, and I mean he looks kind of like he's made he's made out of lard.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just Butter King just kind of fit. But I didn't know he was a king. But he's a Shadow King. But you're the Butter King. You will forever be the Butter King.
That's for sure.
And
So
and the world's angriest boy is Giles.
Giles, yes, that's right. So the one thing I'm a little disappointed in is that we didn't really get a look at Oliver's powers at all.
I still don't know what they are.
I feel like it's got to be something psychic, because Melanie knows too much about psychics for a non-mutant, also non-psychic. So I would assume that Oliver's is psychic, which is also probably why Lenny chose to jump into Oliver's mind.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Just
I got so confused that whole fight sequence. Because he jumped from Sydney to from David to Sydney to Carrie, and I don't know. There was some point where I got lost, and then I caught back up, and I was still a little confused.
I don't know. Okay, so I knew that it was in Sydney when that happened. I'm like, okay, is this going to be like... I didn't know if they were going to resolve this at the end of the episode, or if like Sydney was going to be not Sydney herself the villain, but like Butter King Sydney as the villain for next season. But no, it kept hopping around. Playing, okay, is he gonna hop around to like all the different people, and then we get to see more fucked up shit. No, it ended up in Oliver. I'm like, okay, I don't know. I do like this episode, but it felt kind of underwhelming that like, oh, okay, so the Butter King got away, and he's with Oliver. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't think I care enough about Oliver for this to like have an impact on me. I mean, I do like him, but I don't think I care enough about him to where I mean, I want to see where this story goes, of course, like, because I do love the show and I want to see where it goes next season. But like, I don't think this was this wasn't a way to pull me into next season.
Yeah, I think honestly it's less of an emotional connection and more of I have a very strong feeling Oliver is a psychic. I am very interested in seeing what Lenny's going to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
if he
I
even
want to see more
stands a
Lenny, of
chance.
course. I
Yeah,
want to
of
see how
course.
Lenny interacts with everybody. I just love how she talks with everybody.
Yeah. And when she's got
And I
like her
want
feet out the window when they're driving away, that was great.
to, yeah, and I am disappointed that we didn't get to meet like actual Lenny or, girl who Lenny is based on. Um, so as of right now, I'm just assuming that Lenny was a real person and she did die.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I this episode was great. I know there were just things that I was hoping that would happen that didn't happen.
Yeah, me too. But maybe they're saving that for the future.
Yeah.
Is this renewed for another season? Do we know that yet?
I haven't heard anything yet. I hope it is.
Yeah.
Because like from what I've heard, people have been loving the show. Like I've never heard any negative response to this show.
Mm-hmm. It is just such a weird thing that if you like it, you're going to love it. Like, I feel like this is the kind of show that's hard to have I kind of liked it. I feel like you either like it or you hate it.
I've never heard anybody who hates the show.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard people who couldn't get into it just simply because it is an unconventional show. It's not like any other superhero show that we've seen. I do like, but I love it for that because the climax of this episode wasn't giant battle, guns ablazing, using our superpowers. It was internal,
Mm-hmm.
and the internal struggles, which is really what this whole series was about, was the internal struggles that David and all the other characters were going through. And I hope we get to explore more of the other characters' internal struggles in next season. But this season was really about David. It's called Legion, so it is about him. And seeing his journey from being in Clockwork, thinking, okay, I'm crazy and I can't do anything. I'm just stuck here, popping pills every day, sitting and staring at people in trees and going to sleep and then doing it all over again, to finding someone else who he can connect with on an emotional and a romantic level with Sydney, and their chemistry and their relationship I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. And from him discovering that he's a mutant and that he has these powers, and then him discovering how to kind of use them, and then him coming to terms with the fact that, okay, I'm a mutant, and yeah, I am crazy because there's this thing in my head that is making me crazy, but that's okay because I can finally do something about it now, and like I'm not going to let the Butter King steal my body. This is my fucking body, bitch. I'm taking it back.
Yeah, I super loved his speeches this episode about that. And I guess kind of didn't really get definitive answers to whether it really was Lenny that was making him schizophrenic, or if he was schizophrenic and also had Lenny in his head, which made it worse. I assume we'll get a concrete next season because it was renewed by FX. So it is coming back in 2018. So it's going to be a year from now.
Okay. I can wait. I can wait. And fan fiction will get me through this. That's what I always turn to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I love seeing David. I love him as a character. I loved seeing his journey and how this was an internal struggle, and I do like that. And because the stakes are more meaningful. They're not just, okay, save the world because somebody told me I had to, or like Melanie told me I had to. It was no. This is me we're talking about. This is my body. This is my mind that I want to keep. So that's why it's important.
Yeah. And how do I do that and save the world from this crazy Shadow King?
Well, there's that too.
There's also that. Yeah, it's the both. This episode was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, well, that's this show, isn't it?
Yeah, and it definitely came to a climax in this episode.
And I was really, really hoping. Again, yeah, I mean, most of this is just going to be me saying what I hoped happened and it didn't happen. But I just wanted Oliver and Melanie to like have that moment, because we were questioning last week if like Oliver does remember Melanie. It turns out he doesn't.
He didn't, but then he did. But then he
Yeah.
did, and then Lenny got him, and it was like,
I was like, no.
Damn it.
No, I love the way they talk, because like even if he doesn't remember her, I just have the feeling that this is just how they talk normally, even before this all happened.
Yeah.
So she's like, let's go to dinner, and he's like, are you sure? He's like, are you sure? Like, you remind me of someone. She's like, do I remind you of your wife? He's like, nope.
No, I'm pretty sure my wife was Chinese.
She was Chinese.
Are you sure? You know what's funny? And I had never seen Flight of the Conchords. And in between this episode and last episode, I had watched I'd watched the beginning of the Flight of the Conchords show. And I came into this episode with like a different mindset for Oliver. Like, when are you going to start breaking into song?
Yeah. And if you've watched Moana, then like you'll question why he isn't breaking into the song.
I so loved when the computer was like saying intruder alert or whatever, proximity, whatever. He's like, gosh, shut up. Like he was telling himself to shut up.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if there are deleted scenes of this, or like if there was any ideas, to do this, but I just wanted like a scene where he's just talking to the coffee maker.
Oh, yes.
Or just talking to like the things that have his voice. And like him just being like, how did I get in that? It's just...
Man, if we thought David was crazy, God, Oliver's got a lot of screws loose.
Which could make him, I mean, he's been trapped in like that the giant ice cube. I mean, who knows how much of his brain is actually functioning.
Yeah.
He could be more vulnerable to Butter King Lenny.
He could be, but wait a second. When David was in the ice cube with him, Oliver was talking about the monster like he had his own monster. So what if like Lenny moves into Oliver's brain and then finds there's
like, who the fuck
another monster? Yeah, like another bad guy in there with him. Oh man, that'll be great. There's so many possibilities that they can take this show in next season.
Yeah, and now I want to read some Legion.
Yeah, I know.
Just to like, because I am so excited, because I absolutely love the show. It's one of my favorite shows now. So like I want to like see like in the comics, like where did they take this character, and like what crazy shit could we explore for next season. I think, I don't know if had I read anything before watching this show, going into it blind, if like that would have affected my enjoyment of it, because like just not knowing shit like every week and like not even getting answers every week was like, enjoyable for me, because like this show was like just so unpredictable. Like we didn't have predictions.
Yeah, we had like maybe we more had predictions about what was happening, not predictions about what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like maybe this is what's happening.
But we didn't know. So like that way early on, the big theory was Melanie was Emma Frost. She's not.
Yeah, no, not quite.
So yeah. Wait a minute. I just noticed something. And it upsets me. It upsets me greatly. Amy.
Where is
there was
Amy?
no. Where is Amy? I don't know
where
where
was
Amy
Amy today. Oh
where
my god! Did they like lock her in a room?
I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I was looking around because I had to watch this episode twice, because like I was kind of confused about what was going on. I had to watch it again. So like second viewing, I'm like, where's Amy?
Oh.
Where's Amy? Where is she? I'm looking through like all the scenes, trying to see if like she's in the background or something. She's not there.
Oh. Maybe she went to go see her husband.
How? I don't know, but okay.
I don't know.
And how are you going to explain this to your husband and everybody?
Yeah, that's also another I don't know.
Yeah. I want to see. This has always been a thing with the X-Men. It's like mutants, the relationship between mutants and humans. So we did get that a bit with Division 3, and these guys. Now they got to work together.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting to see how that's going to work. Because we still don't quite know what Division 3 wants.
No, not really.
But I'm just guessing they're against mutants. But
Yeah.
now that this fucker Butter King is out on the loose, possibly, yeah, y'all need to do something.
And definitely Clark seems willing to join up with Summerland
Yeah,
to try to stop the Butter King.
I actually want to see more. I actually want to see more of Clark.
Yes, Clark is great.
Yeah, he's actually a good character that I didn't expect to like, but I like dude. I like you and your husband.
Yeah.
Your husband's like the sweetest thing ever.
They
You
freaking
saw
talk.
it. You saw him hamburger meat and everything. He's like, you're still beautiful.
Yeah.
That's love.
There's my handsome guy. But at the very, very end, David gets sucked into a tiny ball that looks like the sphere from Portal. And he gets miniaturized and trapped and it flies away. I'm wondering if that's a different division, because we know Clark is from Division 3. We've only really had any interaction with Division 3, but we can assume there are more, because Melanie did refer to them as the divisions in an earlier episode.
And they're called the divisions because they're divided up into different divisions. So I don't know if each division has a certain purpose, if they're all under... I'm going to assume they're all under the same umbrella, but actually it'd be interesting to see if like the different divisions actually don't like each other and like they're against each other. That'd be interesting.
Don't. It's probably like the branches of the military. Mm-hmm. Like a rivalry between them.
Yeah. So Division 3 and David and Summerland are going to work together, but we don't know how their higher ups are going to feel about this or how the other divisions are going to feel about this.
Yeah. Yep. And it might even be that the drone that sucks up David might even be Division 3, because we did see them in the room while Clark was in Summerland. And I don't know, maybe they're acting against Clark. I don't know. It's hard to tell, because most of the Division 3 people we saw are now dead.
We still have more questions. After this.
So many.
After this season finale, so yeah, they're probably not going to answer again in season 2, but yeah, just give us something. Give us something.
Yeah. And I mean, it was really nice seeing David actually, with his presence of mind, acting of his own volition. He finally can do this, and it must feel so good. Like he using his powers the way he wants to. He's probably thinking like, this is the shit. Yeah. I think my favorite shot was him with like an aura running at Carrie, possessed by the Butter King with the like dark aura. That was awesome.
That was cool. That was really cool. I think that's like the most superhero-y we got this entire season. Mm-hmm. it was like Captain America and Tony Stark with the...
Yep.
Oh, and Carrie made it.
They did, yeah. No, and in the beginning, like, she was pacing around the interrogation room. She makes him leave. It was so sad.
Yeah. But they're good. They're good.
Yeah, they're good now.
We talk about them as if they're a couple, but they're not.
No. They're, like, the same person.
They are the same person, like, kind of, but
yeah.
They're like life partners, but
yeah,
not partners.
Mm-hmm. I get mad at myself all the time. I can only imagine if there were two different physical versions of me, I'd probably be yelling at myself all the time too.
Oh no, I would kill myself.
Man, I'm just like sitting in a fog because I feel like I've said everything already, but we've only been talking for like... How long have we been talking? Only a couple of minutes, I feel.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I don't know. Just with this show, it's hard to like talk about stuff without like saying exactly what happened, because that's really the only way you can recap this show, is because you can't paraphrase. You have to say everything that happened, and some of it might not even be relevant, but it happened. So, yeah, just the show is just so unique that way, and it would be. It's not really a show that you could like talk about with like other people and like theorize, because like there's nothing to theorize about. I mean, you could try. You could try.
Hell,
it's not
we tried very hard.
I'll just like closing thoughts, and from what I want to say, just this is the X-Men movie that I wanted, but it's not a movie, it's a show, which like that gives it more time to develop these characters. I love all of them. There's not like one character that I don't like. I mean, I didn't like Perm, but because like that's how he's supposed to be. But like there was not one character that I didn't like because of like bad writing, or like a bad portrayal, or like bad directing. No, I just like all these characters. There are some characters that I like more than others, but that's just because the other characters were just so good. So my biggest problem with the X-Men movies is because the focus should be on the X-Men, their relationships, how they develop as people, how they develop as a team, and we don't get that much. There's usually like one main character that we're focusing on, and when you do that, even then it's not that great.
Yeah.
So what I loved about this show was that the show is about David. He's the main character, but we got to see his relationship grow with Sydney, his relationship grow with who I assumed earlier in the season with Lenny, how they were going to like have a close friendship. That wasn't going to happen. This relationship actually turned like really toxic, and like that's really interesting. But I loved it.
Yeah.
And I love Lenny. I just want Lenny all the time. I don't care if she's good or bad. She's just cool.
Butter King Lenny.
Butter King Lenny. Hashtag Butter King Lenny. We should get that trending. Yeah, and it's just a really well written, unique show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we
And
even get relationships developed that are not involving David.
No, and
Carrie
not
and Carrie.
not even necessarily romantic relationships.
Yeah,
they don't have to be romantic.
One of my favorite, what I found to be the most interesting was Melanie and Sydney. I think that was a fascinating friendship to watch. And even how they reacted when Sydney wanted to run into the room and Melanie tried to stop her, and Sydney's like, "Do not stop me." Because you can tell Melanie was thinking about Oliver. What has she done for the past however many years? She's gone running in after Oliver, so sort of just letting her go.
I would like to see I would like to see that parallel of Sydney and David and Oliver and Melanie. I would actually, hopes for next season, I would like to see how Oliver and Melanie met.
Yeah. Aw.
Maybe they did meet at the poetry club.
Maybe.
Like, yeah, he mentioned that like a few episodes ago.
Yeah. Definitely we might get some parallels to how Sydney's tried to save David and how Melanie's going to try to save Oliver, which is kind of heartbreaking because she like just got Oliver back and now she's got to go after him again.
Yeah, and it's not going to be the same.
No, it's going to be
Oliver.
Harder.
Butter King, Lenny, Oliver. Ugh. Which sounds gross. Yeah. And I would actually, I mean, I don't want this to happen for Oliver, but like I would like to see what happens when the Butter King fully takes over someone. Does their appearance change? Is it just the body and like the mind is all fucked up? I want to see what's gonna happen because he's clearly powerful, and I want to see more of. I'm hoping Professor X does make not really an appearance, but like we get like a flashback of him and the Butter King fighting in the astral plane, their little mental battle, because we haven't seen the Butter King at his full potential.
No.
And he's already scary as hell.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw a little bit of his physical manifestations in Carrie when he took her over. So there was all the black smoke coming off of her, and she had the yellow eyes. So we saw a little bit of that. Not to the extent that probably will happen when he reaches full power.
Yeah. And if his ultimate goal, his ultimate goal is like, God being God, but his other ultimate goal is taking revenge on Professor X. I want to know if he's still going to do that, if he is going to try to find him somewhere. And this show isn't directly tied to the X-Men movies, but like it would be cool to see them start putting in little Easter eggs and like little tie-ins to say like, yes, we're still in this universe.
Yeah.
And this is when we are in that universe. If it is the future, like in the not so distant future, I'm guessing where this would fall in with the X-Men movies, it would be in more of like the Logan pocket. Because it's definitely not in it's not in with like Jennifer Lawrence Mystique pocket.
Yeah. I feel like this has got just such a unique look to it that it's got to be a different universe. I feel like it's an Earth 1, Earth 2 situation.
I mean, we could do that. I don't know.
I could also just be watching too much Flash.
Because, no, like, it could be a possibility, but it's just that they said that this is in the X-Men universe, so I don't know if that means, like, yeah, it's in the universe, but this is just another universe.
Yeah, it's in the... It's in the same universe, but different universe, parallel universe.
I don't know. The X-Men movie timelines are just kind of weird.
They don't quite line up.
We went back in time and did this thing, but we're retconning this other thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta watch the X-Men movies again, not because I enjoy them, but I just gotta
set it straight in your mind.
I need to watch them again and like say, okay, like this is a thing that happened and this is a thing that did happen, but it's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
And try to like pinpoint if there's any exact moments where Professor X would have had a child.
Good question. We'll find out. Maybe not next season.
We'll never find out.
We'll never find out. No answers ever.
The series is going to end. And
we'll be as unfulfilled as Lost.
This is better than Lost.
Oh, way better.
Okay, I feel like the writers know what they're doing. Yeah. Lost, they literally they didn't know where they're going to take the show. They wrote whatever the fuck they wanted every week.
Yeah.
I feel like this show... They're fucking with us because like they can and like they think it's funny, but I feel like they know what they want to do. There's just a lot of fucked up trippy shit we got to get through to get there.
Yeah. So Jacob, where can the people find you?
You can find me here on YouTube at Jacob Salazar, or you can find me on Twitter or tweet at me throughout the week, throughout the life at TNowhereland. That is TONOWHERELAND. Join the Nowhereland Society.
You can find me at Clio Moto on Twitter, Twitch, and Pinterest. You can find all of us at ASO TV Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Google+, and right here on YouTube. Follow us for some more podcasts from some of your favorite TV shows, video games, and movies, and some soup.
Butter King soup.
Some Butter King soup.
The Many Faces of Butter King. That's a new show that's coming out. No, it's not.
Many